To be using actually that word which I use, stupid, I think that wasn't really good. That wasn't appropriate to say it because no one is really stupid.
In the general language, no, really.
Some people are complex learners.
Yeah,
right? Let's call them complex learners. Yeah. They don't get it the straight way or the normal way that everyone's been instructing in their whole life.
Yeah.
So you can inculcate them in different ways, perhaps, or they can inculcate themselves in different ways. But I think another one contributing factor to the failure of getting fluent is patience. No,
exactly.
A lot of learners I see are so impatient.
Advertisement.
3 months,
exactly,
2 months,
3 months to get fluent.
Like
put on songs, go to sleep, wake up fluent. That is such a ridiculous and utterly audacious
absurd.
It's absurd. It's so absurd that I can stress it enough. So the thing is, everyone expects to learn something given a definite time. Right?
Exactly.
You can't really put a time stamp on learning a language. You can't say, okay, 2 years you'll be good. It doesn't work like that. Even learners that have studied English for 30 plus years, they still struggle in some areas of it. And that's completely normal because this isn't something that you can be the master of. There's like, what, 170,000 words in English. Can you learn all of them? Do you have to learn all of them? Of course not. You're only going to need like 30,000, 40,000 at best. But the thing that is very common among the learners nowadays is that everyone's impatient. Everyone wants to get things done quickly. Yeah. They don't consider that they have so much time. They don't do that. Like, I had a student back in the day. She was 50 years old, and right now, after like 4 years, she has learned English at a very acceptable and good way.
After 4 years.
After 4 years.
Right,
that's
patient.
She was patient. She worked. If I gave her tasks, she worked on them. She did them properly. She engaged in a lot of outside classroom activities. You're going to have to do that. You can't just...
it doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly.
As I say, you can't put a time stamp on it. It doesn't happen in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. You're going to have to maybe work with this for a very long time if you want to get quite proficient at it. But at a certain level that's accepted. For example, you want to get an IELTS score of 6.5. Mm-hmm. That's generally an accepted score. So if you want to get there, that's great. You can do that, and you won't need that much time for it. But if you want to get a 9 at it, you're gonna have to try a hell lot more.
Exactly. Good. Thank you so much.
I think the last part.
The last part. Yeah, let's move on to the last part about actually your experiences, guys. Let's see what have you gone through this journey. I mean, just in order to be actually. So why you are in this level of fluency or?
Well, I don't consider myself a good speaker or a good somebody who's learned the target language well. But for me, I think I have attended those English institutions just for 2 semesters.
2 semesters.
Yeah, when I was in high school. And then I somehow learned that by self-studying. I played lots of video games, really, and sometimes I had to open the dictionary and see the meaning of, in order to, for example, solve a certain puzzle in that game, and I was really exposed to that. And I used to listen to lots of songs and see a lot of movies. And then when I entered the university, that was where I was really serious. Serious, by serious I mean that I wanted to improve. Before that it was just a hobby. Just a hobby, just something fun, okay, to sometimes. But then I remember having a book on Fridays or in the family where everyone is having a good time or they're making barbecue. I remember that I was studying. Yeah, and that really worked for me. And also that motivation that Farshad mentioned, that these internal motivation that I had actually helped me a lot in the process of learning the other language. And when I entered the university, okay, I was exposed a lot. There were lots of tasks and assignments that I had to do, but I wasn't feeling pressure that I had to do it. No, I really loved English, and my familiarity and my relationship with English was really based on mutual love.
Exactly.
That gave me the ambition to go further and further. I think that worked for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I think passion is key right
Passion
there.
is
Right.
it, yeah.
So for me, I think this level of, well, I think my English flourished as I got more interested in it. So English for me has always been something that I loved. I loved it, really. Like when I sit down and talk, I actually think that it's one of my passions to have a conversation with someone in English, and in order to handle myself in that situation. So a lot of people might consider the level that like we speak pretty high, but at the same time, I think for me, at least personally, there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of room for
Exactly.
improvement
So
for everyone. I still fail a lot of times to
Yeah.
do certain things, and I notice that. That's the thing. That's like I realize my mistakes and I work on them to improve them. So for me, I started studying English when I was in 3rd grade of primary school, but I went to some institutions for like, again, as I said, for about like 3 or 4.
We experienced
We went to the same institute together, and I think at the time, if you remember, I wasn't really that good.
Exactly. That
Right?
time, no.
No one was good. We just learned. We just
wasting
went
the time,
ahead.
I could say.
Yeah,
but
somehow you could call it a waste of time,
unfortunately,
but it wasn't actually a waste of time. Some things happen
that was
unconsciously. Like when you're playing video games, I used to play a lot of video games. I didn't watch that many movies, but video games did it for me because I needed to understand the objective, and in order to understand the objective, I needed to understand what was written. And you go through that, you listen to a lot of people with different accents, and what was one of my passions was, of course, accents, and I really wanted to get good at it, learn a lot of them, and passion speaks here for me. But there's also another aspect to it that a lot of people neglect and don't realize, is that you study hard. You study
Yeah,
really
sure,
hard. People don't see that. Like when I tell them, like, yeah, for the past year I've been studying for 13 plus hours a day, they're gonna be like, okay. And they don't know how difficult it was to go through all that process of dealing with all of the material that was somehow intangible in many ways, that a lot of times. But yeah, I think you're gonna have to
Sit down and
do
open
it.
the book and
You're
just
gonna have to
do
do
it. There's no
Yeah.
miracle. There's no
miracle.
shot given to you.
There's no
Exactly.
miracle.
Just sit there, open the book, start studying.
There's
in
no
this,
magic pill for it. You don't take a pill, wake up, and you know
Speak
English.
fluently.
That doesn't happen,
Overnight.
and it certainly doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly.
I've been practicing for about, how old am I right now?
At 21, I think.
I'm 21.
22,
Yeah,
about
I'm
22.
21. So I've been practicing for about what, like 10,
12
years. That's
I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
That's a long
That's a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
As you guys mentioned, so passion, motivation. There should be a need to impel you to
Yeah,
improve
there's gonna be a need.
English
Exactly.
as well as the other skills, by the way.
So
that needs some who push you through.
that's the thing. Like when I talk to some teenage students of mine, they're somehow like, parents force them to go to institutes, and they're like they're not very. They're not very
Motivated,
ambitious or
motivated.
serious, but as they get older and they realize that, okay, I have this PhD in this field, but if I want to go to another country, if I want to go abroad and study in that perfect, luxurious university, I'm going to need to learn English. And if I don't do that, all of the things that I have done would be taken for granted. Do you want to do that? No, of course not. So now you're impelled, and you feel this need to go ahead and learn English, and you're going to do it diligently because now you have a goal in your mind, and you're going to always need that goal. If there's no goal, you're just doing it as a hobby, as just like a what do you call it?
Haphazard
Yeah,
learning.
it's like leisure
Learning.
time,
Yeah.
right? If you do it that way, if it gets hard, you're gonna quit.
Exactly.
Because
So
you're not
that's-
going to push yourself. No one's going to push themselves when they have no need for it. If I didn't have the need to learn this, or if there wasn't that impelling love that somehow projected me towards this avenue of learning, I would not have gone a step further.
So, John,
Okay.
anything else?
No.
Last word. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for
You're
watching
welcome.
us.
Thanks for having
thank
us.
you, guys, you too,
Of
for
course,
just
anytime.
coming over, by the way. And I hope the guys and the followers made the most of what we talked about today. And until the next video and episode, peace out.
Bye.
Goodbye.